The sun was just starting to rise over the training grounds as Samantha laced up her boots. As a Navy SEAL trainee, she had faced tough challenges before, but today felt different. There was a buzz of excitement in the air. She was determined to prove herself, not only to her instructors, but also to her fellow recruits. They had completed weeks of rigorous training together, each day pushing their limits and learning how to become part of an elite team. Samantha was known for her strong spirit. She had grown up playing sports and loved being outdoors. Her father, a former Navy SEAL, often told her stories of bravery and courage. Inspired by these tales, Samantha always wanted to follow in his footsteps. Every morning, she woke up earlier than everyone else to run extra laps or practice drills that would help sharpen her skills. She believed that hard work and dedication would set her apart from the rest. As the day began, Samantha joined her fellow trainees for morning exercises. The recruits ran through an obstacle course that tested their agility and strength. Samantha felt alive as she navigated the ropes and climbed walls with ease. Despite being one of a few women among the recruits, she held her head high. Each bead of sweat on her brow reminded her of her commitment to this path. That afternoon, during some downtime by the beach, a few of the other recruits joked around and laughed together. But Samantha stayed focused on her own goals, practicing swimming techniques in the calm water. She loved the ocean. It made her feel free and strong. Her instructors often praised her ability in the water, and those compliments fueled her determination. While she splashed and trained, some other recruits watched from shore, exchanging smirks and whispers. They were known for their silly pranks, but hadn't quite grasped the seriousness of their actions yet. Little did they know that beneath Samantha's cheerful exterior lay fierce determination and resilience, qualities that would soon be put to the ultimate test. Fueled by the thrill of what was possible, Samantha remained ready for anything, ready to show everyone that she wasn't just another recruit, but a warrior in training for something much greater than herself. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting shimmering rays on the ocean waves, Samantha continued to practice her swimming techniques. She felt a sense of peace as she moved through the water, each stroke reinforcing her bond with the ocean. Meanwhile, a group of recruits watched from the sand, whispering and chuckling among themselves. They were feeling bold and a bit mischievous, fueling an idea that was about to unfold. "Hey, look at Samantha," one of the recruits said, a grin spreading across his face. "She thinks she's so tough. Let's give her a little surprise." The others laughed in agreement, cheering him on. Feelings of camaraderie mixed with mischief led them to act on their foolish impulse without considering the consequences. With a burst of laughter and excitement, they approached her, trying to mask their intentions behind playful banter. "Come join us for some fun," one called out sarcastically, while another moved closer to Samantha. In an instant that felt like slow motion, they lunged forward and pushed her into the ocean. Samantha gasped as she fell into the cool water, splashing and flailing briefly before finding her footing beneath her. While she initially felt shock and confusion, instinct kicked in quickly. The water felt familiar and welcoming. It was her domain. As she surfaced, she saw the group of recruits standing on the shore, their faces shifting from glee to disbelief. "Is she okay?" one asked hesitantly as they watched her swim gracefully back toward them. A moment of panic washed over them when they realized their prank had gone too far. They had underestimated Samantha's skills completely. "Surprise!" Samantha shouted as she emerged from the waves with a triumphant smile. With sharp determination in her eyes, she brushed off the water from her hair and stood tall amidst their stunned silence. It became clear to everyone watching that this was no simple prank. This was a test that showcased not just her swimming ability, but also her spirit and resilience. The recruits exchanged worried glances as they realized their joke had turned into something much more serious. While they laughed at first, they now faced an unexpected lesson in respect, a lesson that would leave an imprint on all of them going forward. As Samantha plunged into the ocean, her heart raced, and for a brief moment, she was engulfed in a swirl of confusion and shock. The suddenness of the water took her breath away. She splashed around, instinctively flailing her arms while trying to grasp what had just happened. The laughter from the group of recruits floated to her ears, a mix of amusement and bravado, which only added to her bewilderment. "Nice swim, Samantha!" one of them shouted, his voice dripping with mockery. They were clueless, laughing as though their actions were completely harmless, not realizing that their impulsive joke had consequences. Their carefree attitude struck a sharp contrast with the rush of emotions swirling inside her. How could they think it was funny to push someone into the ocean without knowing how she might react? Emerging from the water, Samantha shook her head and wiped the salty spray from her eyes. For a fleeting moment, she felt vulnerable as she caught sight of them standing on the sand, their faces painted with childish glee. It irritated her that they thought this was all fun and games. Instead of wallowing in embarrassment, a steely resolve formed in her gut. She had trained hard for moments like this and wouldn't let their prank defeat her. As she settled back on the surface, her breathing steadied, and she took stock of the situation. The ocean felt familiar and comforting, lapping gently against her skin as she regained control over her body. But the group continued to laugh, unaware that Samantha's initial shock was quickly turning into determination. They were more focused on entertaining themselves than considering how she might feel. "Are you okay?" one recruit finally asked, breaking through their laughter as his smile faded slightly at the sight of Samantha swimming effortlessly back toward them. The shift in atmosphere was palpable, their laughter now mixed with uncertainty. Samantha's surprise began morphing into strength as she flashed a confident grin. With each stroke of her arms cutting through the water, Samantha mentally reminded herself that she belonged here. This wasn't just a prank. It was an unexpected turning point where she'd show her true character, revealing to those careless recruits that she was not one to be underestimated or pushed aside. As Samantha steadied herself in the water, the initial shock began to fade, replaced by a sense of clarity. Her training kicked in, a reflex developed through countless hours of practice and drills. She took a deep breath, letting the cool ocean water wash over her, focusing on everything she had learned about staying calm under pressure. The laughter of her fellow recruits faded into the background as she centered herself, ready to take charge of the situation. With each stroke, she propelled herself through the waves, her movements fluid and confident. The ocean felt like a second home, and as she swam, she recalled the techniques her instructors had drilled into her during training. "Stay calm, analyze your situation, and act decisively," they had said. Those words echoed in her mind, guiding her through this unexpected moment. Samantha didn't just want to make it back to shore. She wanted to turn the tables on the recruits who had underestimated her. They were still standing by the sand, their laughter now tinged with uncertainty as they began to realize she was not struggling but thriving. They watched wide-eyed as she executed each maneuver with precision, gliding effortlessly over the waves. "Look at her go," one recruit finally shouted, surprise replacing his earlier bravado. Samantha caught his eye and flashed a smile, a mix of amusement and determination shining through. Using the waves to her advantage, she pivoted and swam toward the group at an angle that would catch their attention. With one powerful stroke, she launched herself from the water like a dolphin breaking the surface, splashing them with a spray of salt water. Gasps erupted from the shore as they scrambled back in surprise. "Who's swimming now?" she called out playfully, her voice carrying over the sound of crashing waves. There was a thrill in showing them that she was more than just a target for their pranks. She was strong and capable, ready to rise above their childish antics. As she waded closer to shore, confidence radiated from her. Instead of feeling humiliated or angry about their joke, she transformed it into an opportunity to showcase her skills, proving that she was not just another recruit, but someone worthy of respect. In that chaotic moment, she had turned a prank into a powerful display of composure and strength, an unforgettable lesson for both herself and those watching. With her heart steady and her mind focused, Samantha began her journey back to shore. The cool water enveloped her as she glided through the waves, each stroke a reminder of her rigorous Navy SEAL training. She recalled the countless hours spent in the pool and ocean, practicing techniques that kept her calm even in challenging situations. Panic was not an option. Instead, she channeled her energy into swimming with purpose. As she kicked her legs and moved her arms in a steady rhythm, Samantha felt a surge of confidence. The initial shock of being pushed into the water had faded completely, replaced by a fierce determination to prove herself. She navigated the gentle swells with ease, using the currents to propel herself forward rather than fighting against them. Her instructors had taught her well. Embrace the water, don't resist it. Those words echoed in her mind as she found her flow. Samantha focused on her breathing, inhaling deeply through her mouth and exhaling through her nose, just as she had practiced during training sessions. Each breath fueled her resolve, reminding her of why she was there, to become stronger and more capable every day. The laughter of the recruits faded further into the distance, leaving only the sound of waves crashing against the shore. She could see the beach getting closer with each stroke, and that sight inspired her to push harder. The sun beat down on her back, energizing her as she embraced the challenge ahead. As she neared the shore, a sense of pride bubbled within her. She was not just swimming back from a prank, but demonstrating resilience and perseverance. When Samantha finally reached solid ground, she emerged from the water with grace, shaking off droplets like a seal returning to land. Standing tall and proud, she turned to face the group of recruits still watching from afar, their expressions shifting from amusement to astonishment. They saw not just a fellow trainee, but someone who had faced an unexpected challenge head-on and excelled. "Who's swimming now?" she called out playfully again, this time with a sparkle in her eye that reflected both triumph and camaraderie. In that moment, Samantha reaffirmed not only her skills, but also reinforced that true strength lies in handling adversity with poise, a lesson they would all remember long after this day. As Samantha swam confidently toward the shore, the group of recruits stood frozen in place, their laughter dying down as they watched her glide effortlessly through the water. Initially, they had found amusement in pushing her into the ocean, but now, an unsettling feeling began to creep into their minds. With each powerful stroke she took, their expressions shifted from playful mockery to concern. Is she really okay?" One recruit mumbled, glancing nervously at his friends. The bravado that had fueled their prank evaporated as they exchanged anxious looks. They had underestimated Samantha's abilities and were beginning to realize the gravity of their actions. What had started as a light-hearted joke now felt like a reckless gamble with someone's safety. "Look how strong she is," another recruit whispered, wide-eyed as he pointed to Samantha's determined face. Her hard work and dedication were on full display, and it was clear to everyone watching that she was not just an ordinary trainee, she was a force to be reckoned with. The initial thrill of laughter faded into an awkward silence filled with tension. The beach felt both distant and close as Samantha approached it, each stroke bringing her closer to solid ground, while simultaneously amplifying the worry in her fellow recruits' hearts. They had seen her train and knew how hard she worked, but witnessing her in this moment of challenge made the reality sink in. They had pushed someone who could easily handle herself in the face of danger. As she emerged from the surf, water cascading off her like a champion returning from battle, the recruits stood in awe. Gone were their playful taunts. Now they were humbled witnesses to resilience and skill. The realization hit them hard. Their prank had been foolish and thoughtless, and they were lucky everything had turned out well. Samantha shook off the water and turned to face them with a confident smile, but there was no mistaking the serious undertone in her eyes. "Next time you want to have fun," she called out playfully yet firmly, "maybe think twice about how it could affect someone else." In that moment, the recruits understood they had crossed a line, and that lesson would stick with them longer than any playful joke could ever last. They felt a newfound respect for Samantha and realized that true strength comes not just from physical ability, but also from composure in chaotic situations. As Samantha reached the shore, she emerged from the waves, dripping wet but filled with an exhilarating sense of pride. The sun glistened off her skin, and every droplet that fell from her hair felt like a badge of honor. She stood tall, shaking her head to rid herself of the salt water clinging to her forehead, and looked back at the group of recruits who had pushed her in. Their faces were a mix of astonishment and admiration, but she felt nothing but triumph as she stepped onto the warm sand. Instead of feeling embarrassed or angry about being shoved into the ocean, Samantha was invigorated by the challenge. This experience hadn't been a setback. It was an opportunity to showcase everything she had worked for during her training. With each stroke through the water, she had proven not only her swimming ability, but also her resilience and strength of character. The thrill of overcoming what could have been a humiliating moment filled her with joy. Samantha took a moment to catch her breath and appreciate how far she'd come in her journey as a trainee. She recalled the many early mornings spent training hard, every lap in the pool solidifying her confidence in the water. Today was another testament to that dedication. The realization washed over her that she could handle whatever challenges lay ahead. As she approached the group still gathered on the beach, their expressions shifted into something more respectful than before. They had learned a valuable lesson in humility by witnessing firsthand what it meant to underestimate someone who had trained just as hard as they did. Samantha smiled at them, knowing that this prank would forever remain an important turning point in their camaraderie. "Next time you think about pushing someone into the water," she teased, "make sure they're not a Navy SEAL trainee." Her light-hearted tone broke any lingering tension, and laughter erupted from both sides. It felt good to share this moment with them, not just as a victim of their prank, but as someone who had turned it into a celebration of strength and determination. With pride swelling in her chest, Samantha embraced the warmth of the sun on her face and reveled in knowing that she'd faced adversity head-on. This day would not be remembered for mockery, but rather as an affirmation of who she truly was, a strong, capable warrior ready to take on anything that came next. As the laughter faded and the sun warmed her skin, Samantha approached the group of recruits who had pushed her into the ocean. While she felt a sense of victory in overcoming the prank, she also sensed a need to address what had happened. After all, it wasn't just about her. It was about understanding the impact of their actions. "Hey, can we talk for a second?" she called out, her voice steady but serious. The recruits exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from amusement to concern as they recognized the gravity of the moment. They had seen her strength in the water, but now it was time for them to face the consequences of their foolishness. Samantha took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "I know you guys thought it would be funny to push me in," she began, her tone calm yet firm. "But pranks like that can be dangerous. You don't know how someone might react or if they could get hurt, especially in water." One recruit shifted uncomfortably on his feet, clearly feeling guilty. "We didn't mean any harm," he said quietly, struggling to find the right words. "I get that," Samantha replied, looking each of them in the eye. "But think about it. What if I hadn't been able to swim? What if I panicked? It's not just about having fun. It's about being responsible for each other as teammates." Silence filled the air for a moment as they processed her words. Samantha continued, "We're all training to be part of something bigger. Navy SEALs are trained for high-pressure situations where teamwork is everything. If we can't trust each other to act with respect and care, then we're not really a team at all." The recruits nodded slowly, understanding dawning on their faces. They had witnessed her ability in the water, but now they were realizing how important it was to foster an environment where everyone felt safe and respected. "I'm not mad," Samantha added with a slight smile, hoping to lighten the mood again. "Just remember that being tough doesn't mean you have to take unnecessary risks with others' safety." With that final note hanging in the air, Samantha felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She had turned an unfortunate situation into an opportunity for growth. Not just for herself, but for all of them as a team. As they exchanged sincere apologies and newfound respect filled the space between them, she knew this moment would strengthen their bond moving forward. As the conversation wrapped up, Samantha could see the change in her fellow recruits. They stood together, clearly reflecting on what had happened. The incident was quickly becoming more than just a prank. It was evolving into a pivotal learning moment for everyone involved. The laughter had faded, replaced by serious discussions and nods of agreement as they recognized the weight of their actions. Samantha took a moment to gather her thoughts again and decided to address the group one more time. "This isn't just about what happened today," she began, her voice steady yet encouraging. "It's about understanding that each of us plays a vital role in our training and safety as a team. We may joke around, but we also need to take care of one another." The recruits listened intently, absorbing her words. Several had already expressed remorse, but now they were starting to grasp the broader lesson behind their impulsive decision. "We need to respect each other's skills and boundaries," she continued. "As Navy SEAL candidates, we'll face many challenges ahead, and those challenges will require trust and teamwork more than anything else." One recruit raised his hand hesitantly. "I get it now," he admitted, his voice a mix of regret and understanding. "We let our fun go too far, and I see how that can lead to serious consequences." His admission opened the door for others to express their thoughts and feelings about what they had learned from the situation. Another recruit chimed in. "Today was eye-opening, not just for Samantha but for all of us. We're here to build each other up, not tear each other down. The shifted atmosphere showcased their commitment to growth as individuals and teammates. As they spoke, Samantha felt her heart swell with pride. This wasn't just about her resilience or ability. It was about shaping an environment where everyone felt valued and respected. She saw leaders emerging from within her peers as they collectively recognized the importance of accountability. "Let's make a pact," Samantha urged them all with renewed energy. "From here on out, we support one another, physically in our training and emotionally with respect, always front of mind." They nodded in agreement once again, solidifying their newfound sense of unity. With laughter returning gradually as conversations lightened, but maintaining the essence of their learning moment, Samantha felt hopeful for their futures. This day would be remembered not just for its initial conflict, but as a turning point that would ultimately strengthen their bonds and prepare them better for the challenges ahead as future Navy SEALs. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the beach, Samantha took a moment to reflect on the day's events. She felt a mixture of emotions swirling inside her: pride, determination, and an unexpected sense of camaraderie with her fellow recruits. What had started as a reckless prank had transformed into a pivotal moment of growth for everyone involved. Samantha understood that this experience would forever shape their journey together as Navy SEAL candidates. It was more than just a lesson learned. It was a reminder of the importance of teamwork and mutual respect. She felt grateful to have addressed the situation head-on, turning disappointment into a powerful opportunity for connection rather than division. With each passing wave that lapped at her feet, she felt reassured in her commitment to succeed, not just individually, but as part of a team. Trust was essential in their training, and this incident had underscored that truth in a way she couldn't ignore. She knew that hard days lay ahead. Challenges were expected in their demanding training program. Yet, knowing her fellow recruits understood the value of supporting one another made her feel optimistic about facing those challenges together. As she glanced back at the group still gathered on the beach, laughing together and sharing light-hearted moments, Samantha felt her heart swell with pride once again. The bonds they were forming were stronger now than before. They were not just trainees working toward individual goals. They were teammates committed to lifting each other up. Determined to be an active participant in cultivating that supportive spirit going forward, Samantha resolved to lead by example. She would champion accountability and take care of those around her while also pushing herself to be the best version of herself each day. As she walked back towards the group with renewed energy and excitement for what lay ahead, she knew this incident would stay with them all as a pivotal learning moment. A reminder that true strength comes from unity and respect for one another as they trained together. With a confident smile on her face, she thought about how far she had come and how much farther they would go together. Today was just one step in their journey, but it was a step filled with lessons learned and relationships strengthened. Samantha couldn't wait to see what else awaited them on this path, both individually and as an unstoppable team ready to tackle whatever came next.